So video on Android has improved drastically over the past few years, but it's still far from the best, and apps like the recently released Blackmagic camera could help bridge that gap between professional grade camera systems and your Android phone. Here's what it's like to use and if it's worth a try. So if you weren't aware, the Blackmagic camera was developed by Blackmagic Design, and this is the company behind apps like DaVinci Resolve and cinema cameras such as the Ursa Mini, the Blackmagic Cinema Camera, and many, many more. The company has a rich history of all facets of media production, so when a big player releases an app aimed at giving us better video controls on your phone, you should probably sit up and listen. It's worth noting that the Blackmagic camera app has been around on iOS for about a year before it recently made the jump to Android. The version 1.1 update though has expanded the supported device pool fairly extensively, but it can work on some unsupported handsets if you do try and sideload, but that is at your own risk. That said, the official list of Android phones that work with this third-party recording app isn't exactly long. So you're probably wondering, why would you even use a third-party app like this on your phone? Well, unlike the default camera application on your phone, which is ordinarily designed for casual snapshots and clips, the Blackmagic camera application is tailored for videographers and filmmakers. Most of the time I will say that point and shoot is going to be fine, and it is even fine for me. Still, if you want to have greater flexibility, the Blackmagic camera application provides full manual controls, allowing you to meticulously adjust settings like shutter speed, ISO, white balance, even add zebras, lens focus and focus points, exposure, stabilization settings, and the frame rate. And that is just a tiny selection of the controls you will have at your fingertips by using an application like this. With some practice, you can use the tools here to capture your desired cinematic look, or add that cinematic touches later down the line. Moreover, if you use precise controls, you can ensure optimal image quality in various lighting conditions and not rely on the AI and the algorithms in your device. Additionally, this app often supports a wider range of video formats, including higher bit rates and color spaces, resulting in richer, more detailed footage. And you can even bake a LUT directly into any recordings if you want a specific look for these videos. Another key advantage is the inclusion of professional monitoring tools like waveform monitors, histograms, and focus peaking, which offer invaluable assistance in making those critical adjustments after or even before you hit the record button. This level of control and monitoring is typically absent in standard camera apps, save maybe Sony's Xperia Videography Pro app, which is only available on Xperia phones. Also, to add in the fact that this is coming in at under 20 megabytes for the full app size, and it's completely free, I think it's just the icing atop the cake. If you want to get serious about your mobile videography, it's really hard not to recommend the Blackmagic camera application, at least to start with. Ultimately, this app transforms your smartphone into a versatile video production tool, bridging that gap between professional grade cameras and the mobile convenience that we all know and love. So pro video controls for smartphones are not usually available right out of the box. Apps like Filmic Pro are a great catch-all solution and probably the closest alternative to the Blackmagic camera app. The interface is fairly similar across the board here too. Instead of the basic frame rate and resolution control options, you have a lot of options at your fingertips. It might seem confusing at least at first, but the HUD includes things like the lens that you're using, FPS that you're recording in, the shutter, which is the times in which the shutter will shut and close every couple of seconds, the aperture, which usually can't be adjusted, there's time code for your recordings, there's ISO and white balance, and even tint controls thrown in here right from the get-go. Tapping any of these allows you to make adjustments where they're available. Because the aperture though is fixed on each of your lenses on your device, it doesn't appear that you can adjust this on phones like the Google Pixel that I've tested this with. One of the biggest bonuses here I think is that there's a histogram baked in, and this is in the bottom left. It just gives you a simple visual representation of the color distribution with the thing that you're shooting at. There's also an indicator to show the remaining storage on your device, or how much of your chosen video resolution can be recorded locally. You can also track the audio levels that you're recording using the meter in the bottom right. Tapping this panel, it just pops up so you can get a better look at the audio recording levels, make the adjustments, make the changes that you need to before you start shooting. There are even some controls on either side of the record button. These include media tagging and catalog controls, and this metadata can help organize your files when in your editing suite of choice. It's perfect if you need to take multiple takes, or if you do need to tag your footage for later usage and later editing. There's also a zoom control option which lets you zoom in and out while recording using digital zoom or the on-device lenses. You can't use the ultra-wide from this section, or at least you can't on the Pixel 8 series that I've tested this on. but you can do things like adjust the white balance on the fly alongside the autofocus or manual focus settings. The last interface option includes framing and safety markers, focus peaking, and real-time LUT controls. These are all important features, and once we start to combine an industry standard interface with these pro-level functions, the Blackmagic camera application starts to become a powerful replacement for your regular recording setup, and it might even be useful if you don't have access to your dedicated camera system. There are almost too many features here to list, but the highlights might be enough for you to test this app out. So if you run out of local storage or want to record at the highest quality settings on your device for extended periods, the Blackmagic camera application actually lets you set the file location or destination where these files will be saved. This means that you can actually record directly to external storage like SSDs or other supported media without having to record then offload. Running out of storage is a major limitation when you're shooting video, so I think this is a super neat inclusion, especially if you start working with 4K, even some devices out there that support 8K video recording. If you already subscribe to the service, the Blackmagic Cloud feature allows auto proxy creation and is available to anyone with an account. So if you've recorded a clip, it will be uploaded securely in the background, and those proxy files will be available to edit right away in DaVinci Resolve. And that streamlines that entire content collection and therefore the editing process. LUTs or lookup tables are also a great way to add a specific visual identity to your footage, and the Blackmagic camera application now lets you view in real time or bake into your recorded footage for quick editing and uploading. You'll need to import LUTs to your device for this to work properly, but it is easy to toggle on and off on the fly, especially if you want something unique, something that stands out and uniquely you. Another really neat tool is HDMI output monitoring, and with a supported cable, you can set up your camera and output the footage to any screen or external recorder. There are even options for clean feeds or you to mirror the display if you want all of that important data visible. Even if you don't want to do this, you can set the screen to dim when you're recording as well. And I think this is another option which is super useful if you do want to start recording video in dark environments, and it works really well as your display will be almost black, meaning you can just focus on getting that shot, framing, and taking your videography to the next level. There's an auto rack focus function here as well, which I haven't seen in many applications on Android. This lets you pull focus manually between preset targets for shots that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to capture on a smartphone. You can set up to 3 different points of focus and then adjust the transition time to have a smooth focus transition between your subjects or your subject matter. I think this is better for static objects and people who are not moving drastically, because it is hard to get right when you're moving. So I've just scratched the surface of some of those pro level features. There's way more to dive into here, and Blackmagic is committed to updating this application month over month and year over year. If you're considering this application at all, well, I think it's a no-brainer because it's completely free for anyone. If you want to play around with these video tools, then it's definitely worth a test drive if you do want to up your videography game on your smartphone. However, it's worth noting that support is limited currently to the Pixel 6 and newer, so Pixel 6, 7, 8 series, the Galaxy S22 series and newer, so S23, S24 and S22, the OnePlus 11 and OnePlus 12, plus the Xiaomi 13 and 14 series. As I noted at the start of this video, you can try to sideload on your Android phone, but you might encounter some issues with non-supported handsets. If you do have a supported phone though, you can download the Blackmagic camera app directly from the Google Play Store, and I think it's well worth a go. Overall, in terms of application functionality, this is one of the better ones out there from one of the industry leaders, one of the brands that goes out of their way to make videography tools accessible. It's completely free, definitely worth a test drive. And as I say, if you want to take your video to the next level, give it a go. Before I head off, I just want to say thank you to our channel members on screen now. You're the backbone of our YouTube channel. And on top of that, I just want to say thank you for watching. This is a super quick deep dive into an application I thought was really interesting and is fairly new to a lot of people out there. Thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.